Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something dark and dramatic, because this Valentine's Day I was not in the mood for romance. Instead, I embraced my inner mourning widow, and I'm going to show you how to create this gothic blood red and black ultra dramatic look. All of the products I use are going to be listed down in the description. Think corpse pale skin, razor sharp features, and a haunting elegance. Let's go. The first step is always prep. Make sure all of your hair is out your face and secure. I'd already done my skincare for the day, so this is just makeup prep. I'm using a moisturising primer and make sure I rub it deeply into the skin. So I apply my primer and let it sit for a minute or two just to soak it in. I use a brush to apply a thin layer of foundation, as I knew the white base I was going to use was shaky at best. Stargazer white foundation. We love her, we hate her, we couldn't find the face paint so we had to use her. The first layer is really disappointing. I was hoping for a bit more vibrant, so I go ham. While it looks vibrant in the first instance, that too blended down to nothing. But I felt like we were making progress. A third layer, though even this isn't the stark white that I wanted, so let's move on. Trust the process, trust the process. Not a thought in my brain, I began patting in white powder to set the base, forgetting I hadn't done contour. So, grabbing a stick contour and a flat square head brush, I draw lines of contour down each side of my nose and then round it underneath the septum. This gives an overall reshape to the shape of the nose and just sort of slims down the sides. I then apply a little under the centre of my bottom lip to give my lips that pouty feel. Moving on to cheekbones, you can either do kissy lips or move your mouth from side to side to help you show where your cheekbones sit. Then I tend to draw slightly above where the cheekbone is to give the illusion of them being raised up slightly. I also use the contour on the top corners of my head, just to straighten the hairline a bit and dome the forehead. Grabbing a clean, damp beauty blender, I gently buff the nose contour outwards, making sure there's no harsh lines. Then I brush the blender into my cheekbones, forehead corners, and bottom lip to mix the contour in with the foundation and make it all blended and subtle. Now I can go in with a powder for the base, and taking that powder just to pat it into the foundation and blend the contour and set all of that wet base. The eyeshadow palette that I'm using for this look is really great for layering, so I'm going in with a white shade just on the parts that I want to highlight, the centre of the nose, each eye socket up to my brows, above my cheekbones and the centre of the forehead. Because I'm going extra corpsey, I also do the upper lip and chin. Highlighting is for anything that you want to bring forward on your face, and contouring is for everything we want to banish to the shadow realm. I tend to use the same brush for all of my eyeshadow, cleaning it on a makeup wipe in between colours and then drying it on a clean towel. Once again highlighting with another layer of the white, and this time patting it into the inner corners of my eyelids too. Contour time, aka the part where we bring structure back to my ghostly face. Taking a grey shade, I begin going over the contour lines with the eyeshadow, using it as a stand-in powder contour for a more subdued, dead and pallid look. I'm not concentrating on blending it just yet, just applying the colour over where I want to contour. Then going over with my contour buffing brush, which is a powder brush I squeeze by the bristles to make it into a flat brush, and buff out that first layer of grey. I also bring this down in a straight line from the base of my cheekbone to contour the jaw. I mix my brow pomade with some primer just to make it a bit more workable, and then using an eyebrow brush I begin drawing a line, following along the bottom of my brow. I get that I don't have much eyebrows, but I keep the middles so I know where to put them. I then draw a provisional line slightly upwards and outwards from where my brow ends. I do each step on one brow and then mirror it onto the next one. That way I can make sure they're even and matching. And make sure to look front on in a mirror just to check the symmetry. It will end up quite pale again after eyeshadow, but this is just going to be a guide for now. Back in with the white shade, I highlight under my newly drawn brow and create about a centimetre of the white eyeshadow all along underneath the brow. I call this the blending base. It means any colour that we add we can mix up and into that blending base and make it super subtle. Let's turn these sockets into something truly unholy. I take a red shade and starting in the inner corner, begin the base layer of colour. I tend to do an exaggerated wing style shape for my eyeshadows, as I have either deep set or hooded eyes and eyeshadows on the lid can get lost. I also take it down the sides of the nose too, while still making sure to mirror it on both sides. I then take a clean brush with foundation on it to cut the crease. Each time I finish cutting it, I'm wiping the brush on a makeup wipe. Especially with red, we don't want to end up spreading pink everywhere. I cut the crease a few millimeters above where my crease is when my eye is open. That way the contrast between the two can be seen without shrinking my eyes. Setting the cut crease, I use a clean finger to dab in some of a grey shade. I find using a fingertip rather than a brush prevents fall off. But then I use the same brush I cut the crease with just to tap the grey colour into the parts of the cut crease that are above my lid. I then dust off any fall off with my powder brush and move on to the black colour. Taking the same brush I used for the cut crease again, I use black graphic liner to draw a cut crease shape and then carry it down under the bottom lashes. With my everything eyeshadow brush and my grey shade, I then begin to blend the grey and black together in the centre of my lid. And then I buff out the hard line I made with the graphic liner to blend it into the red. Checking it over and looking for last minute tweaks, I decided to use a fingertip to tap in more of the black colour into the centre of the lid, and dust the fall off. Now the eyeshadow is done, I go in for a second layer on the eyebrows. And going in with some chaotic eyeliner flicks. I am not very gentle with this, I just sort of slap it on, but I make sure to underline the outer corner of the lower lash, and also sharpening the inner corner to a cat-like point. Using a brown eyeliner, I line my lips, just ever so slightly outside my lip line, but keeping that low, swooping cupid's bow. You can rub your lips together to blend this in and see the shape that you're creating so you can even it out. Then I go in with my eyeliner again to darken that outer edge, and it also creates a lovely sharp looking lip line. If you get it wrong, you can wipe it off carefully and start again. Just make sure that you like the lip shape that you're left with. Once you're happy with the lip shape, you can go in with your lip colour. I'm using a liquid matte lipstick as the matte finish is great for tapping in extra or contrasting colours. Rub your lips together to get it all even and blended. I then take my fingertip, just to make sure the blend goes all the way into the overline. I just press it, dab it lightly into it. And now to craft the extra drama. Using the unclean eyeshadow brush, I decided where I wanted the blood tears to be. This starts out looking like running mascara, which I love, and I also blend it nicely and thickly into my lower lash line to add that tearful emotion. Using a red graphic eyeliner with my cut crease brush, I then go over the lines I've made with the red and also my lower lash line with it. Now is the final primp and preen. I make my cheek contour even darker. It would have looked fine in person, but since I was doing it on camera, I wanted that extra depth. I also added more contour into the hairline, using the complete wrong shade to make a dark patch, and also under the chin to sharpen and snatch that throat. I go in with a second layer of the red tears, this time being more smudgy, more haphazard, and thickening some of the tear lines. Once I'd brushed out my hair, I put an all-over layer of mascara on my top and bottom lashes, though I'd completely forgotten where the camera was. And I couldn't find my false lashes, so this look was done. And there you have it, my goth morning Valentine's look. Perfect for looking heartbreakingly dramatic while sipping wine and contemplating the void. Let me know in the comments if you'd try this, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff. I'll see you next time.